Today on Community Cooking, we have guest chef and registered dietitian Jessica Beaudion here to show us how to make quick, easy breakfast solutions. From savory breakfast muffins to apple cardamom overnight oats, chocolate cherry energy bites, and grab-and-go mixes. You'll never skip breakfast again with these recipes. We're cooking with some of the best chefs right here in our own community. So grab a seat, get comfortable. We have some great recipes for you. This is your Community Cooking. Hello and welcome to Community Cooking. I'm your host, Chef Kawawami. I'm here with my friend and chef, Jessica Beaudion. Thank you for being here. You're a registered dietitian.
That's right. I actually work locally at Providence Little Company of Mary Medical Center here in Torrance, and I work both with patients in our hospital as well as patients on the outpatient end and in our community with our Fit Food Fairs.
That's really awesome. And now you brought us 4 different healthy breakfast solutions, but also snacks.
That's right. Breakfast is one of the most important meals of the day. It's a common adage, and it's often skipped. A lot of my patients and friends and family will tell me that we don't necessarily get breakfast in the morning, or you don't get hungry. So I brought 4 quick and easy solutions so that you'll never skip breakfast again.
That's so awesome. So we're going to start with savory breakfast muffins, and then you're going to show us how to make quick overnight oats.
Absolutely. For our savory breakfast muffins, I personally like to have something savory in the morning. So for today's muffins, what we're going to be making is we're going to be including whole eggs as well as egg whites to make it a little bit healthier.
Excellent.
And then adding in some healthy vegetables, including spinach, red bell peppers, green onions, mushrooms, and then we'll be stirring in a reduced fat mozzarella cheese as well.
Wonderful, and all these are from, the farmer's market.
Exactly.
Beautiful, fresh ingredients, and you can make this with anything, right?
Yeah, with the egg muffins, you can pretty much substitute all of the vegetables for whatever you like. You could add in garlic, you could add in different herbs and spices, so it's really customizable.
Which is great for family with picky kids because they can get their own breakfast muffin.
Absolutely, you could make
Nice.
this a fun family event and have each person customize their own muffin or two.
Wonderful. So can I help you get chopping?
Absolutely.
I'm really good at that.
All right. So a couple of the ingredients that we'll prepare, I'll have you go ahead and prepare both the red bell pepper and our green onions. I'll have you
can do
slice
that.
some of those to add to what's already done. And I'll start getting ready the spinach, which we're just going to chop up into smaller than bite-sized pieces.
That's a big spinach.
It is. This is the full grown. It's not the baby spinach that you're used to seeing at the salad bar. And basically, you can include the stems in along with the spinach as long as it's cut up into small enough pieces.
Okay.
Because this will all cook down pretty nicely. And you want about a cup of spinach and about a half cup of the red bell peppers and about a half cup of the green onions as well.
Nice. And like you said, you can use really any vegetables that you prefer.
Exactly. You can customize this, like I said, with pretty much anything. You could throw in red onions. You could make it more of a Mexican flavor profile, include a little bit of cumin. There's really an endless number of possibilities when it comes to customizing this and making it your own.
I love that.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I skip breakfast all the time. Well, when I get up early, I'm not a morning person. So this morning when I got up, I was like, oh, here's some toast. And it was sad.
And it's true. Toast is a quick grab-and-go option, but it's just carbohydrates. And so it's not going to keep you full for very long.
I'm not getting the protein.
Exactly. And so this breakfast has both protein as well as lots of antioxidants packed in. So it looks like we've got our vegetables pretty much ready. Do you want to go ahead and crack the eggs?
I would love to crack the eggs.
Mix those in all together. Excellent. And like I said, what I'm using here today is a combination of both whole eggs and egg whites. But if you don't have egg whites, you could do this all with whole eggs. The benefit of using egg whites is we're using fewer yolks. Yolks do have some important nutritional properties. They're full of antioxidants, but they're also really high in cholesterol.
Yes.
So if you've got a history of heart problems, or if you're looking to just optimize your health and not overdo it with cholesterol, a good way is to go 50-50.
Okay.
We're using 5 eggs for this recipe with 1.5 cups of egg whites. 5 eggs is about equivalent to 1 cup or so.
Oh, okay.
So you can switch that out easily. So we're going to cut this with a little bit of our egg whites. And actually you can find these at the grocery store, often in the same space that you find your whole eggs. So go ahead and whisk those together, and then we'll season them while you're whisking with a little salt, about a half teaspoon or so to season that up nicely,
Now,
and some fresh ground pepper.
I like this idea because I'm not a huge fan of egg whites because sometimes I feel like they can be a bit bland.
Yes.
So I like adding a little bit of yolks in there because there's flavor in there.
Absolutely. And like I said, some important nutritional properties. Choline is a nutrient that we don't find in very many foods, and you find that in egg yolks. So then it's really simple. All we have to do is basically combine all of the ingredients together. So we're going to go ahead and toss in the green onions and the red bell peppers.
Wonderful. I'm going to grab our muffin tin here.
Excellent. Oh, and we need to prepare the mushrooms.
Oh.
Almost forgot about the delicious
Let me hand you this,
mushrooms.
then I will chop the mushrooms.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll go ahead and throw in some of the spinach.
And it doesn't really matter how I'm slicing these, right?
Exactly.
It's all going to mixed in.
Slice, chop.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
That's the
it's
thing
up to
too.
you.
I think people get really caught up on like their knife skills.
Yeah.
And with these recipes, you don't really. No one's checking your knife skills at home.
No.
You're perfectly fine.
And actually, the mushrooms kind of absorb some of the moisture from the yolks and the eggs, so it actually is hard to detect the different shapes of mushrooms. So even for those who aren't big mushroom lovers, this adds a lot of moisture to the muffins without making it really mushroomy.
I won't lie. I'm a little weird about mushrooms.
Yeah.
I like them. They have to be cooked in stuff, but like raw mushrooms in my salad, no, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So once those are ready, we'll just go ahead and I'll also toss in our cheese.
Wonderful.
And again, I'm using a lower fat option for the cheese. This is a reduced moisture.
Bringing a knife towards you.
Thank you. Reduced moisture mozzarella cheese. A reduced fat mozzarella cheese. So it's
great.
a little bit lower.
So you're not missing out on the calories because you still get that cheese flavor.
Exactly.
And that looks really pretty too. I like all the colors.
Exactly.
It's very nice.
Like I said, you can really customize it. You could use some orange bell peppers to give it another little color pop if you wanted. Red onions also will make this really colorful.
I love red onions. I'm actually a big red onion fan.
So good.
Yeah.
And good for you. So this doesn't have to be perfectly uniform. You can kind of even it out as you're scooping it in. What we have here is our muffin tray that's already been sprayed with your, any brand of cooking oil you want to use out there.
Yeah.
And the oven itself is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yes, and what I like about this is this isn't exotic ingredients.
Right.
Anyone can find this. Everyone has a muffin tin. I'm sure if you look in your pantry, even if you don't make muffins, everyone has a muffin tin.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes we forget about it. I've bought a couple of these.
I bake a lot, so I have quite a few muffin tins, all different sizes and everything.
The mini ones.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is something that you can make ahead of time. You can make this the morning of. They're really great when they're fresh, but this is also something that you could prepare the night before or for the week because they keep in the refrigerator for around 3 days or so. And
smart.
you can also freeze these, and they can last for a month or longer depending on how well you seal up the bag. So these are also a great grab and go. And then the morning of, all you do is go ahead and zap that in the microwave for about 45 seconds to a minute, and
That's amazing.
You've got your breakfast
so
on the
quick.
go.
See, I never thought about freezing. Like, I think like you don't think about freezing eggs.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
anytime you can freeze something and you know that you made it, so it's not like something from the store. It's fresh ingredients that you made.
Totally preservative free.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
May I put those in the oven?
Yes, so the oven's 350 degrees, and those
Wonderful.
should be ready to go. We'll bake them for about 20 minutes, so they should be ready by the end of the show.
Beautiful. And now we're going to do our overnight oats.
Absolutely. Let's get some of this prep out of the way. And we'll get started on the overnight oats.
So overnight oats, I mean, this is really popular. I hear about this all the time.
Right, it's
A lot of
becoming
people are
really
doing it.
trendy. A lot of people on social media are posting their overnight oats recipes, and that's because they're quick, they're convenient, and they're really fun to make ahead of time. These could be made the day of or even 3 days in advance. They keep in the refrigerator for a few days.
Wonderful. Will you just tell us about the ingredients?
Sure, so for our overnight oats today, we're going to be using a plant-based milk, but you could use any milk you want,
I'm a
cow's
fan.
milk. This one is soy milk, and this one's almond milk, but there's also soy, hemp, etc.
There's so many now.
We'll be combining that with the rolled oats, which is important. Rolled oats, not any other kind of oats like steel cut. Rolled oats are best for this purpose. Chia seeds, cinnamon, and cardamom powder. And then to top it all off, we'll be combining diced apple, lemon zest, a little bit of honey, and some walnuts.
Wonderful. How about you mix that? I'll chop.
Sounds good.
Right.
So go ahead and chop up the apple. And again, this is something you'd want to do the morning of because apples tend to oxidize.
Of course.
And then we'll also zest the lemon, and that'll all go into one bowl.
Wonderful.
The night before, what you would do is simply combine your oats, your chia seeds. These are a great source of omega-3
And also
fats.
they thicken too,
They
right?
do. Yeah, the chia seeds are key. They're optional, but I highly recommend them. Great source of omega-3s, and they thicken the oatmeal really nicely. It's not just for chia pets anymore.
No, that's so funny because, yeah, chia seeds are really popular now too. And you can even make, they call it like chia seed pudding.
Oh, yes.
Where you soak it like in some almond milk overnight, and yeah, it makes like almost like a tapioca
Exactly.
pudding consistency.
So delicious. And then you just want to mix this so that the chia seeds get submerged. They tend to float a little bit. Same with the spices. And what you would do is then put this into either an old jam jar or into a coffee mug if you don't have a jam jar that you've saved. And you can see, and it just basically sits in the refrigerator for a minimum of 5 minutes, or excuse me, 5 hours.
I was like, 5
minimum
minutes?
of 5 hours. This
Yeah.
isn't that quick.
Well, it needs to absorb and
Exactly.
expand.
Exactly.
Nice.
And as long as 3 days. So you've got the lemon zest and apples and just a little bit of lemon juice.
To keep them from oxidizing.
Right. And then
Wonderful.
we'd use the chopped walnuts and the honey just to kind of sweeten it up a little bit.
And that's delicious right there. Like, I'm all about that right now.
Exactly, yeah. You know, this could be another breakfast alternative. So we have 5 breakfast recipes today.
So easy. Well, we're going to get this in the fridge to chill, and then when we come back, you're going to show us some chocolate cherry almond energy bars. That's a mouthful, which I'm looking forward to, and then some grab-and-go mixes.
That's it.
All right, so don't go anywhere. This is Community Cooking.
Hey,
Put
sorry.
down the phone, Rob.
Welcome back to Community Cooking. If you're just joining us, we have guest chef Jessica Beaudion. She's a registered dietitian, so we're making very healthy breakfast options, but also snack options as well. And in the oven, we have our savory breakfast muffins, and then our overnight oats are chilling in the fridge, and those are getting ready for us. And now, what are we making?
So next we're going to make the chocolate cherry almond energy bites, and these are a very simple make-ahead kind of meal that you can use for breakfast. Also something that you could freeze in advance if you wanted to keep these for a little bit longer.
I love that.
In our chocolate cherry energy bites, we have a variety of ingredients. We've got rolled oats, dried cherries, almond butter, honey, cocoa powder, coconut, and this is unsweetened shredded coconut.
Big difference.
Big difference. You don't want the added sugars from that. We're getting a little bit of sugar from the honey, as well as our chocolate chips, mini chocolate chips,
I love
and
those.
a touch of almond extract.
All right, I'm excited. So this just gets all thrown in a bowl.
Exactly. Very easy to make. You just throw it all in one bowl, mix it all together. So.
And we don't have to cook the oats, nothing?
No, actually it absorbs some of the moisture from the other ingredients, the cherries, the honey, and the almond butter, and it just kind of solidifies nicely for us.
That's awesome. I'm really excited about this just because this is something that I would totally eat. I love all the flavor profiles that are in there. And I love, you know, I'm weird too about coconut.
Yeah.
I like coconut in things, but it's like, if it's in a cookie and it's in a bar, like I love the flavor of coconut.
Yeah,
And then,
And this actually, it's more like a binder. You don't really taste a whole lot of the coconut itself. And we're only using a 1/4 cup of honey and just a 1/3 cup of the chocolate chips. Give it a little bit of sweetness, but not overdo it with the added sugars.
and then this is cocoa powder.
Cocoa powder, rich in antioxidants, also adds a little decadence to a morning treat.
I love it.
And then we're using almond butter, but you could also use peanut butter. Peanut butter is a little bit higher in protein, but this is going to be low in allergens. It says no gluten, and this is also peanut-free. So for any concerns with kids at school,
that's right, peanuts.
this would be lower
Yeah.
in allergens.
And almond butter is also, it's a little more neutral than peanut butter.
It is. So
Yeah.
it really, you could switch out the fruit. You could add in different types of nuts. Lots of different options for that.
So we have a touch, just a
Just
touch.
a 1/4 teaspoon, yeah.
That's a quarter teaspoon.
Voila. And then this gets pretty sticky, but you just go ahead and give it a good mix. It takes a little bit of muscling around. If you find it's resisting too much and not solidifying, you'll want to add a little bit more almond butter. My recipe, I put in about a 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup, but you may need as much as a full cup. Depending on the oats, and if you want to add in other ingredients, it might need a little bit more to bind it together.
So this is pretty foolproof. Like,
exactly.
If it's not really coming together, just add a little bit more of this, add a little bit more of that.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it should come together pretty nicely. The other thing that we're going to do with this is I usually recommend, once it's fully mixed and all incorporated, throw it into the refrigerator for an hour, and that will allow the ingredients to solidify even further before you start to roll it out into a small ball.
Also, I do a lot of baking as well, and like, this isn't necessarily baking, but sometimes when you have ingredients like oats and flour and that kind of stuff, when you let it rest, it hydrates.
Exactly.
And so when it looks dry, but if you let it rest a little bit, it's actually going to become more moist, so you may not need the extra stuff. So sometimes a little bit of patience goes a long way.
It does.
Yeah.
So what I would normally do if I were making this at home is just cover this up with a little plastic wrap, set it in the refrigerator for an hour, and then go ahead and roll it into about tablespoon-size balls. And you basically, we can demo a little bit if we want to get our hands a little bit dirty. You just kind of form it into a nice little ball, and this is a little bit of a sticky activity, but fun to do with kids if we do proper hand washing.
Oh, yeah.
Roll it into a little ball.
Well, these are coming together really easily.
Yeah. A little chill will take some of the stickiness away from your hands.
Nice.
So you just roll it up into about tablespoon-sized balls, and a great portion size for this breakfast is 2. So for those who say, you know, I don't get really hungry in the morning, I don't have much of an appetite, that's why I don't eat breakfast.
Thank you.
You know, 2 bites is doable for most of us, and this is a good way to get your body primed for having a breakfast on a regular basis.
And plus, you got all that fiber in there, and that helps you stay full.
Right. The combination of carbohydrates with the fat from the almond butter and the fiber from the oats and cherries will keep you fuller for longer. So 2 energy bites really go a long way to keep you full till lunchtime.
That's so smart and awesome. And like, I get hangry.
Yes.
I like sometimes if I'm talking to somebody on the phone and I find myself getting like a little mad, I'm like, have you had a snack today?
Yes.
And so like this would be perfect for me to like carry around like I'm having conversation. I'm like, I'm just gonna step away. I'll eat this little energy bite, come back to the conversation. Yeah.
You've got it. It's a real mood enhancer. And actually that's the thing. That's the thing about breakfast is it keeps you full for longer. It improves your mental performance and reduces irritability throughout the day. So
which everyone needs.
Exactly. I think we could all benefit from that.
All right, so next we have our grab-and-go mixes.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is basically like you're making your own trail mix or like a snack mix.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is for when I'm in a hurry in the morning. If you're anything like me, you're waiting until the last minute to roll out of bed and then in a rush to get out the door. And so one of my favorite grab-and-goes, because I don't like to skip breakfast, is to make these little grab-and-go bags for... which have a variety of food groups, actually. At the end of, once we're finished with all of these, each bag will have 4 food groups for a good, balanced breakfast.
That's so funny because you don't even think about that. Like, this has all the food groups.
Yeah, you've got everything except for vegetables here. You've got your fruit, you've got protein from any of the nuts that we're adding. We're using whole grain crackers. I got the reduced sodium variety. I highly recommend doing that. It's a good way to shave off some salt intake for the day. And then I also am going to include a little bit of cheese, and that's an optional ingredient. If you were doing this for a lunchbox, you might want to leave out the cheese just because that will get warm as the day goes on. But otherwise, you can make these bags 1 or 2 days in advance. You don't want to leave them for too long. The dried fruit will hydrate the nuts a little bit and make them a little bit more soft, and so it's not quite as good that way. But otherwise, yeah, just customize your mix.
What are the ratios? Like, how would you want to build this?
Good question. I do about a quarter cup to half cup of dried fruit, quarter cup of nuts, about a handful, around 8 to 10 crackers, and about 1 to 2 ounces of cheese, which is equivalent to about 1 or 2 deli slices. So this is probably going to be, that chunk is probably around 2 to 3 ounces or so. So that's a few portions right there. That one's a nice white cheddar cheese. We also have Monterey Jack.
Oh, okay, very nice.
You can make your own combinations here. We've got some raisins, cranberries, and dried cherries, but you could also have apricots. I've also got some figs here. So there's really a lot of options with the dried fruit. again, you can do pretty much anything with these.
Nice, and this is good for kids, you know.
Kids,
yeah,
lunch
parents.
boxes. For me on my own,
Yeah.
I grab this in the morning. Like I said, this is my go-to.
Me on my own too, yeah.
Okay.
I love dried figs. I'm actually a huge fan of dried figs.
So good, and good for baking with, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah. About a 1/4 cup of the nuts. Go ahead and throw whatever nuts. I like to use walnuts because they've got omega-3 fatty acids, great for brain function and eyesight. And then, like I said, around 8 to 10 crackers.
Nice, I love these crackers.
To go with your cheese. And it's just a really easy grab and go.
Awesome.
Kids could customize their own.
Yeah, this is super simple, and I love this. Anyone can do this, and you can take this anywhere.
Exactly.
All right, well, we're going to continue making these for our crew, but when we get back, we're going to get to taste all these delicious things that we've made. So don't go anywhere. You're watching Community Cooking.
Guess what? I have some news for you. There's free food right there, junk food. You see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef. All for free, ladies and gentlemen. All for free.
Here we have a panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto. Enjoy. How we doing?
Fantastic.
So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
This food is really about to be thrown away.
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
It was good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month. That's a lot. Isn't that a lot? Go visit savethefood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
Welcome back to Community Cooking. Today we're cooking with my friend, Chef Jessica Beaudion, and we made 4 amazing things that you can have for breakfast or even a snack. Now, these breakfast muffins, they look delicious. They're savory breakfast muffins. Should we try it?
Yeah, let's give it a go.
I'm all excited. And I like how they puffed up.
Exactly, they rise nicely in the oven. You can either eat these with your hands, or you could serve them on a plate with a fork and knife. Real
And that
simple.
was quick.
Absolutely.
Like, we made that in live time.
Yeah.
It was quick.
All of these were made within 30 minutes. And what I love about this particular breakfast option is it's got a little bit of protein, a little bit of veggies, a little bit of dairy with the cheese, and you can complete the breakfast by having this with a piece of fruit, you know, grab and go.
Yeah.
Quick apple or orange in the morning. Or if you chose to refrigerate or freeze these, zap them in the microwave for a minute. And you could even just throw it on some bread as a handhold. Grab a piece of pita or tortilla. Whole grain is what I would recommend. And that's a complete breakfast right there.
That's so amazing. That's so easy too, because you want the whole grains
Absolutely.
to go with it. And then next we made our overnight oats with chia seeds. I've actually never tried this before.
Yes, so these overnight oats were made with a little bit of chia seeds to give it some omega-3 fatty acids, really boost your brain power in the morning, a little bit of walnuts and apples for a familiar flavor, but a little bit of cardamom to give it that extra something, and lemon zest as well.
I like the cardamom. I'm a huge fan of cardamom. And then it's amazing the chia seeds, how they swell, like we were talking about that before, and gives it that good pudding texture. And
Absolutely.
we made this with, did you make this with soy milk or almond milk?
I used almond milk today. Soy milk would have even more protein in it, and it's another great option. If you don't have chia seeds or you don't want to use chia seeds, you could also mash up some banana for a little bit more of a thickener. So a nice ripe banana, mashed it up, and then add that to the oats as well.
That's wonderful. And then we have our chocolate cherry almond energy bites.
Yes, these sound and are a little bit decadent. They have less added sugars than many energy bites do, but the portion size is 2. So keep that in mind when you're snacking on these, because it's easy to get carried away.
No, I love, we were eating them on the break. They were good. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, these are definitely one of my favorites. I'm going to make this for sure, because I need little snacks on me when we go around. Yeah.
And that combination of chocolate and cherry is one of my favorites.
So good.
Absolutely. And again, plenty of fiber and a little bit of fat from the almond will keep you fuller for longer. So those 2 bites really go a long way.
That's so smart. So good to have on hand. It is really decadent. It has such a good flavor. And we're talking about the almond extract. Almond extract, just a little tiny bit, gives so much flavor.
It really does. It's a common secret ingredient in many of my baked goods.
So smart. And then, of course, our grab-and-go snack mix.
Yes.
take this anywhere.
Again, highly customizable. We've got some of these for the crew to go ahead and snack on, those who skipped breakfast this morning.
Also,
all four food groups.
Yeah, and if you have picky kids, you can customize it to their tastes.
Absolutely. Let
So
them
smart.
pick out which almonds, which nuts, which fruits they want to add to their own bag.
And that would be a fun exercise because kids always want to do things on their own. So then they get to make their own combinations. They feel like, you know, it's theirs.
Exactly.
That's so smart. Well, Jessica, thank you so much. I had a lot of fun today. These recipes were great. I hope you try them at home. From myself, Jessica, the crew, thank you so much for being with us for another great episode. And remember, some of the best chefs really are right here in our own community. We'll see you next time on Community Cooking.
If you'd like a copy of the recipes seen on this show, send us a self-addressed stamped envelope to the Office of Cable and Community Relations. That's 3350 Civic Center Drive, Suite 200, in Torrance, California, 90503. Be sure to note the show number displayed on the screen. And don't forget you can find all the fresh ingredients used on today's show at the Farmers Market. Visit the one here in Torrance at Wilson Park. That's located at 2200 Crenshaw Boulevard. They're open every Tuesday and Saturday from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m., rain or shine. And if you'd like to be a guest on our show, email us at communitycooking@torranceca.gov and check us out online at youtube.com/TorranceCityCable and like us on Facebook at Community Cooking TV.